You're welcome to Sahara Football Extra. My name is Rafael Banaman Kote. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, please do so to subscribe to the channel. In today's episode, we speak about Arsenal Football Club, their signings, as well as the pre-season they are currently having in the United States of America. So once again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so to subscribe to the channel. So Arsenal last season, they came closest to winning their very first league trophy since 2003-2004 soccer season. Then they used to have Arsene Wenger as their head coach. Within that particular season, they went unbeaten. That was when the invisible tag set in under Arsene Wenger. But fast forward to last season, Mikel Arteta, he was in charge of the side. He made sure that they came closest to winning the league trophy, but eventually they lost out to eventual winners Manchester City on that regard. Everybody tagged them as the bottlers of the English Premiership because, who would lead the pack for close to 15 points and surround the lead at the summit of the table? But that was Arsenal. That is what happened to them. They led the pack for so long a season, and eventually they succumbed to the pressures from Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. But you see, these things didn't happen on a fluke of it. The fact is, a lot of things played wrong in their favor. William Saliba, he was one of their stalwart defenders in the Arsenal setup. He got injured at some point, and it seems to affected the title hopes of Arsenal. Then, moving forward, Thomas Partey also got injured for the Arsenal at some point of the season. It also affected their title hopes. So that is when manager Arteta had to dip into the transfer market to sign players to augment his side. So Leandro Trossard came in there, and you also have Jorginho from Chelsea coming in there to replace Thomas Partey in the heart of midfield. To an extent it seems to work, but eventually they lost out that title and credentials to Manchester City. Fast forward to this season, as Arsenal and that is Arteta, they've done well to get and rope in their signings as early as possible. So they signed Kai Havertz from Chelsea for £65 million. He's come in there. They also signed another player in the English Premiership from West Ham United. That is the club record signing from West Ham to Arsenal, Declan Rice. They had been following that particular lad for most parts of the season. At some point it felt as if Declan Rice will opt for Manchester City, but it didn't happen. He eventually chose Arsenal over Manchester City. £105 million. That is how much he signed from West Ham to Arsenal. Then they got Julian Timbers from Ajax. That is also £38 million. They signed that particular lad from Ajax to their side. So you could see that in one of the presses of Arteta, he remarked that most of these players are coming inside to augment an already talented squad he has. So when you look at the Arsenal setup, they have a plethora of players, a plethora of young guys that are hungry for success, that would want to make their mark in and within the Arsenal team. So you look at their front line, they have the likes of Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka. They also have Leandro Trossard, who signed from Brighton last season. Gabriel Jesus also came into the ranks from Manchester City. Martin Odegaard, he is the captain of the side. He also came into the setup. So you look at this bunch of players under Arteta, it speaks volumes of the fact that he wants to do something profitable, or he wants to achieve something with the side. So let's see if he'll be able to actually help us now to overcome the odds of winning the English Premier League for the very first time in over a long record amount of years, because since they won it in 2003-2004 season, they haven't been able to win it then again. So you look at their preseason, they actually played their first match against Nürnberg. They drew 1-1 in that particular game against Nürnberg. Then they had to correct their mistakes. They played, that is the MLS side, that is the MLS All-Stars in the second match. In the second match, they whitewashed and trashed the MLS side by 5 goals to 0. So that is positives if you would have it from their previous game where they played Nuremberg and they drew 1-1. In their next match, they actually beat that is the MLS All Stars by 5 goals to 0. So it speaks volumes of the fact that they've been able to remedy and also correct their mistakes from their previous game. So a host of the other guys are also getting game time. They are also getting game time, which also speaks to the fact that Arteta, if anything whatsoever, he has to make sure that he wins the trophy. So because on the back of spending about £600 million in the amount of years he spent, close to 3-4 years with Arsenal, and he's won the FA Cup within that period. If he doesn't win, that is the English Premiership this season, it spells doom for him, because he's been heavily backed by the club hierarchy. Because if you have been backed with an amount of £600 million within about 4 transfer windows, then the English Premier League, that is something they have lost, or that is absent in their last few seasons. So if he's unable to win this particular season's English Premier League, it will spell doom for that is Mikel Arteta. So you look at players he's brought into the ranks: Kai Havertz from Chelsea, also Declan Rice from West Ham, and also Julian Timber. He is also a defender to that is Arsenal. You look at Kai Havertz, he's a player that didn't really get it going in the MLS challenge, but he proved himself in the match proper. He scored a goal. That was the 5th goal. He scored a goal for Arsenal. You look at a player like Declan Rice, he's coming into the setup with a lot of experience. He's young though, but he's got a lot of experience playing a lot of matches for West Ham United. In his presser at his outdoor, and he actually disclosed that he wants to win trophies with Arsenal. Let's see if he'll be able to win trophies with Arsenal. I know a lot of the fans are actually yearning and hoping and praying that Arsenal will be able to win the league trophy this season. It won't come easy. It's not going to be a roller coaster for them, because look at other sides in Manchester City. They've lost a host of their players. The likes of Riyad Mahrez have left. Gundogan has left. The likes of Gebreyesus, who's also left. You have that is Zinchenko, also left last season. So a host of their side that won the treble last season have left. But it also doesn't mean that they are not replacing. They've replaced very well in vital areas that Pep Guardiola feels that he needs to replace. The likes of Manchester United are also replacing, as you might have it. Erik ten Hag, he's been able to dip into the market and sign a goalkeeper in that regard. Andre Onana is coming in the place of David De Gea, who was let go after 12 years with the club. You also have a player like Mason Mount. He's coming from Chelsea to that is Manchester United. So you look at these guys that have been signed, it tells you that Arsenal won't have it easy. If they need to win the trophy, or they have to win the trophy, they have to make sure that they hit the ground running in their very first few games. Because with the English Premiership, when you start proper and you start well, it certainly justifies the means for you. So I just hope that Arsenal will be able to get to the ground running. It won't be easy for Mikel Arteta and his boys, because most of his boys, there will be competition for places. There will be injuries at some point of the season. But let's hope and pray that they are able to deliver the goods when it's expected of them. So that is where we'll draw down the curtains on today's episode of the show. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, please do so to subscribe to the channel. And my name is Raphael Banaman Kwate. Keep hope alive with sports.